السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره، نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، شر الأمور محدثاتها، كل محدثة بدعة، كل بدعة ضلالة، كل ضلالة في النار. Inshallah, tonight we will talk about an important part of this book and the chapter of transactions, and that is sharika. And that is sharika, or company or partnership. And they are very important, and this is something common that a lot of us get involved with, going partners with other people, or having a corporation or a company with other people. So it's very important to understand the rulings and the ahkam that come along, because a lot of disputations take place when there are partnerships, and one of the most important problems or reasons is not knowing the ahkam and the rulings of Sharia concerning partnerships, and what are the rules that each party in the partnership need to abide by. So inshallah we'll talk about that. We'll see how much we can say. There's a lot of material to cover, but we'll talk about as much as we can as the time allows, inshallah. الشركة في اللغة هي المخالطة أو الاختلاط. الشركة, in the language, the word sharika in Arabic is to mix. Is to mix and to get mixed together. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى وأشركه في أمري, or like sharing as well. Sharika is to share, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about Musa alayhi salam when he asked about for Harun to be his partner in the da'wah. وأشركه في أمري. يعني this is Aisha radiyallahu anha she was traveling, she heard a guy asking the people who is the guy with the biggest favor toward his brother, like who is the brother that did the best or the biggest favor ever for his own brother. So people start guessing. So Aisha called him and she said, indeed it's Musa alayhi salam, because the favor that he did his brother Harun is he made him a prophet. So there is nothing beyond that. So Allah says about Musa, وَأُشْرِكُهُ فِي أَمْرِي, وَأُشْرِكُهُ فِي أَمْرِي, يعني make him a partner with me in the da'wah, as you all know. Also يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الناس شركاء في ثلاث, that people are partners in three things. So it's very, as you see, partners, shuraka, shirk or sharaka or sharika, all these things means partnerships. Ma wal kala wal nar, يعني the three things that the Prophet ﷺ said people are partners with is the grass and the fire and the water. اصطلاحا هي اجتماع في استحقاق أو تصرف. When we talk about sharika, يعني in the Sharia, what we mean by sharika, يعني partnership for a reason. Okay, partnership for a reason, and that is to deserve, to become entitled to receive, or you are entitled to give. So that is the meaning, and we'll give you examples to explain what that really means. يقول المؤلف رحمه الله في استحقاق. When we say sharika في استحقاق, يعني two people are partners in something that they're entitled to. And specifically, يعني they call it شراكة الملك, they're partners in earth, for example. يعني something they had no choice but they became partner in, or whatever the situation was, but they turned to become partners, other than the other partnership that we talk about, which is business. But in this instance, or in this situation, they're partners, for example, استحقاق يعني partners, for example, in earth. يعني a father died, left his kids, they inherited a house or a farm or a business, so automatically, instead of dividing the whole business, they are partners in it. Alright? So that is something like that. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى فإن كانوا أكثر من ذلك فهم شركاء في الثلث. يعني about the inheritance and all that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about someone dies and he leaves his mother behind and he has brothers but he has no kids. Whatever the situation, then if they are more than that, then they are partners in the 1/3. But the point is, they are partners, meaning the brothers and the sister. Actually, this is one of the situations in inheritance where the males and the females get the same amount. But the point is that Allah used the word sharak, فهم شركاء. So they're partners in this earth. So when we say about sharika, it doesn't necessarily only means business. Okay? When we talk about partnership, of course our main point to talking about is business. But when we're talking in general, it has more meaning. أو تصرف. So one is استحقاق, and that is to be partners in earth, to be partners in hiba. Okay? So you join someone together and you buy a masjid and you give it the donation fi sabilillah, and as long as this masjid is going on, it's hiba, or you give a gift, or whatever the situation is, you're partner with someone in ledger, for example. But the other one, tasarruf, يعني the business, the partnership in business, and that is our focus. Okay, our focus, tasarruf, يعني to do your transactions and to do your mu'amalat and to do your what you're supposed to do in any business. So when we talk about the tasarruf, شركة tasarruf, يعني في العمل, in the business, في المال, in money. So that is what we will be focused about, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْخُلَطَاءِ يعني الشُّرَكَاء لَيَبْغِي بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَقَلِيلٌ مَا هُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about shuraka, in the story of Dawood alayhi salam, when the two angels came in to ask him questions and they said they're partners. He said a lot of partners oppress one another. Why? Because they are usually, when you are with partners, it starts great. Brothers, you're great, buddies, putting money together, we're going to invest, we're going to do this. And then when things start getting sometimes bad, or even you're making money but someone start untrusting the other, then you start having all these issues. So usually, in general, partnership or sharaka is something that will bring problems. Except وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الشُّرَكَاءِ الْخُلَطَاءِ لَيَبْغِي بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Except those who believe and do righteousness. Those who have taqwa, they will fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the partnership. Yani sometimes, some kind of partnership is you give your money and you tell him invest it. And then we share the profits. Okay? So usually with that, as the long run, if that person that you give him your money is not trustworthy, and it's not someone who has taqwa, and someone you will start doubting him. Yani every time you see him wearing something new, you might start thinking. You see him driving a new car, you might thinking. Maybe he inherited something, but you start thinking. So, and that is how to share. So always look for the one who fears Allah in those things. Sharikat al-Musahima, when we talk about the companies, the kind of companies, just to talk about this so we get it over the way, where you buy shares. Okay, and a lot of people ask about these questions and about these companies. Is it okay to invest in, or is it? Usually these companies are three types. Okay, these companies are three types. One type, their business is complete halal. Now when we say their business is complete halal, that means everything. All their transactions are halal, and those are very few, if not Maybe in a couple of Muslim countries you'll find such companies, but in general those are not available in the West. When we say business, that their business is halal, it's not only what they sell and buy. It's every transaction in the company. Yani when they want to buy something, when they need to borrow money, when they need to invest, when they need this, when they need that. You know, like for example, a company like Pepsi, let's say. Pepsi, their business is not only make Pepsi and sell it, make Pepsi and sell it. There are more things. They have to buy a factory. How are they going to buy it? Are they going to pay it cash? Are they going to get a loan, mortgage, all these things? So they are companies, their business and their transactions from A to Z is halal. So obviously in these companies and corporations, there is no doubt that investing with them and becoming partners with them, as you buy a share, you're a partner, okay, is no problem. Then the second kind, where their business is haram, from A to Z, very much, yani. And those, obviously, investing with them or becoming partner with them is haram. So we don't need to, yani, Budweiser, beer companies, mortgage companies, all these things, banks, all that obviously is haram, and investing with them or going partners with them is not permissible. So we have the third part where it's mixed. Yani, in general, the business is halal. What they do, the kind of business, the kind of services they provide, whatever the products they sell, they're halal. There is no problem with that. But they have some kind of transactions that are haram. So maybe if they want to open a new factory, they go and they borrow money in haram, yani in riba. If they give loans, maybe they give it in riba. If this and that. So they have some aspect, yani small aspect of the business that is haram. So what is the deal with those companies? The ulama have two different opinions. And one opinion is that they make qiyas and they apply these companies to the rules that you go along with what's the major ideas. Yani you look at the major situation. For example, and these rules apply to money. Someone who has, yani people ask, can I eat in the house of someone who has a grocery? Or can I eat in the house of someone who deals with riba? Or can I accept the invitation of someone who sells something haram? Whatever the situation, usually the rule in Islam is, or can we accept as a masjid a sadaqah from someone who has some part of his business is haram? The rule in Islam is at-tabi'u tabi', and the little takes the hukum of the majority, the minority takes the hukum of the majority. So you look at the majority of his money. If it's halal, then if there is some share of his money or some part of his money is haram, then that haram will take the rulings of al-halal. You got this point? That's why tabi' tabi', yani whatever is major is what that is the hukum. So that according to these rules, the ulama who said it's permissible to invest in companies that the main work of it is halal, but they have some transactions that forbidden and haram, maybe riba, maybe qurud and riba, whatever the situation is, they, according to those, they said it's permissible. And also they have other reasons. They said usually companies like that who have shareholders and they have partners from the society, they usually provide the great services for the communities. Like they might be contractors, they might be enterprises that will build huge projects in the society, in the community. So if people are stay away of it and cost billions and billions of dollars that one individual cannot afford. So that's why they make these kinds of companies. So they're saying, if we're going to say that it's haram to invest, then these companies will never be able to stand on their feet. They'll never be able to develop these projects in the community and these services. So that is one of the reasons that they say it's permissible. The other opinion, which is the opinion of most of the ulama, contemporary scholars, it's haram. As long as there is something haram in the whole issue and in the whole company, part of it is haram, even if it's little, then it becomes haram to invest. And they said that the reasoning and the rationale of the other group is invalid, because the first thing, they are not obligated to invest in those companies. Second thing, those companies are not obligated to do some transactions that are forbidden. Third, the rulings or the basis that they formulated their opinions in accordance. I said that little takes the hukum or the ruling of the majority. They said these apply to money, it doesn't apply to companies. Okay, it doesn't apply to transactions. It applies to someone income, to someone possessions. So they said all these are not fit, and it's haram to invest. Wallahu a'lam. This is the correct opinion. So let's see what the companies that Ibn Qudama rahimahullah mentioned in his book that we are studying. قل مؤلف رحمه الله باب الشركة وهي على 4 أضرب. Sharika, the chapter of the company, corporation, partnership, and it's 4 types. شركة العنان وهي أن يشتركا بماليهما وبدنيهما، وشركة الوجوه وهي أن يشتركا فيما يشتريان بجاهيهما، والمضاربة وهي أن يدفع أحدهما إلى الآخر مالا يتجر فيه ويشتركان في ربحه، أو يتجر فيه ويشتركان في ربحه. وشركة الأبدان وهي أن يشتركا فيما يكسبان بأبدانهما من المباح، إما بصناعة واحتشاش أو اصطياد ونحوه، لما روي عن عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله عنه قال: اشتركت أنا وسعد وعمار يوم بدر، فجاء سعد بأسيرين ولم آتي أنا وعمار بشيء. So Ibn Qudama rahimahullah mentioned in his book 4 types of partnerships, 4 types of company that are, and in general companies are permissible and they're allowed under Islam. But there are some rulings they have to abide. If you get involved, there are some rulings, and we will talk about those. Very, very important that you understand them if you want to get involved with such business. So let's see the kinds of sharikat or companies that Islam allows and Ibn Qudama talks about. Sharikatul Inan. Sharikatul Inan is that kind of company where 2 people, for example, it can be more, but 2 people get partnered together. يشتركا بماليهما وأبدانهما. I have $5,000, you have $10,000, whatever it is, and we come and we say, let's invest together. So I put my money, you put your money, and we take these $15,000 and we start working. So the point is, both of us are working and both of us have put money in. So both of us are working and both of us have put money in. Sometimes someone puts the money and the other works. Sometimes it's other than that. No one puts money, but they work. So that is al-inan, is both partners will put money and put effort. For example, it's not inan when let's say you come and you open a restaurant and you bring someone, you tell him, you're my partner, you just work. I have other business need to worry about, so I open a restaurant for you and you take care of it and we split the profit. That is not inan. But if we come together and I put 10,000, he puts 10,000, we open a restaurant and he works during the day, I work during the night, that is what we are talking about, and that is Sharikat al-Inan. Sharikat al-Wujuh. Sharikat al-Wujuh is the other kind, and that is partners without money. It's not their own money. So they go and they borrow. الوجوه بمعنى, it's called الوجوه, faces, because they have a good reputation, they have a good name. So when they approach people to borrow money, they'll give them. So they use al-jah, they use their reputation to get money. That's why Ibn Qudama rahimahullah, when he defined this, he said, وَشَرِكَةُ الْوُجُوهِ وَهِيَ أَنْ يَشْتَرِكَا فِيمَا يَشْتَرِيَانِ بِجَاهَيْهِمَا. Because of their name, their reputation, they partner. He comes to Brother Ali, he asks him for $5,000, and so go to Brother Muhammad, he asks him for 10,000, and then they bring money. So it's not their money, but they're going to put their effort. Alright? And then later on they can return the money, and that is okay. The third type, Sharikat al-Mudaraba. Mudaraba is very common, and that is, I have my money, someone who has the experience. So I come to him and I said, listen, you have the experience in this and that, so here is $10,000 invested, okay, and we split the profits. Or you get 50, I get 50, or you get 40, I get 60, whatever the situation. Splitting, when I use the word splitting, doesn't mean 50-50, يعني. We just share the profits. So in this المضاربة, يعني I give you the money, so رأس المال from me, the money from me, the finance, and the work from you. Okay, and whatever we agreed on in how we're gonna divide the profits. That is called المضاربة. Okay, I give you money, you invested, and once you make money, you bring me some of the profits. النوع الرابع. Now, what if in المضاربة, if you give him the money, if you agree with him, okay, if you agree with him on percentage of the profit, that is شركة مضاربة. That is مضاربة. يعني I give you the money to invest, and you work, you invest, you do what you're supposed to do, and then you bring me back, you take 40%, 60% for me, for example. That is مضاربة. That is شركة. يعني this is no some kind of partnership. But what if I give you the money and I tell you I will pay you $1,000 a month as long as you're investing this money and making him make money for me? Is that مضاربة? Is that partnership?
It's not.
Okay. Kind of, but it's not. And the reason it's not, because of the reason that we're not splitting or sharing the profits, but I'm paying you salary. So this is called ujra. And I'm paying you for the service you're providing for me, and that is to invest my money. But what else that we talked about this sounds like? Wakala. The brother said last time, power of attorney. I give you the power of attorney of this money to invest it. But I'm paying you for it, so it becomes wakalat ujra. So it's wakala, I give you power of attorney and I pay you for it. So here invest my money and I'll pay you for it. Alright? So this can be, and this is permissible as well, but it's not some kind of sharika يعني, because they're not partners. Okay? رابع, شركة الأبدان. شركة الأبدان, or in other words, the corporation of bodies, the partnership of bodies, meaning there is no money, but there is work. So they work and then they split the profits. For example, two hunters, two brothers who know how to hunt, they go every week. Their business is to go every day and hunt. Whatever they can hunt, birds, deers, fish, whatever it is. They say that whatever we collect at the end of the day, we'll sell and split the money. That is sharikat abdan. So if one of them catches nothing and the other catches 1,000 pounds of fish, the agreement is they are partners, so they split. If one of them catch one fish and the other catch 10 fishes, then they split the profit equally. That is sharikat al-abdan. Alright? So there's no money, but there is effort. And whatever both bring back, they combine together and they split. Okay? So it doesn't matter how much each one has produced. And the dalil he used, Ibn Qudama, about this, قول Ibn Mas'ud said, اشتركت أنا وسعد وعمار يوم بدر. He said, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, that I partnered with Ammar bin Yasir and Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas on the day of Badr. So they're partner in what? In what they're going to gain from the war. Yani after they split, after they win, whatever they can get as partners, or each one individually, then they're going to bring it together and split it. So Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, me and Ammar got nothing. And we were not able to get anything. Sa'd got two prisoners. He was able to catch two of the kuffar, yani two prisoners of war. Alright? How are they going to split 2 over 3? Well, it's the value. Alright? The point is, but this hadith has weak on it, to it, but there are the general dalils and general proofs in the Quran and the Sunnah shows that this is permissible. So all these 4 types that we said are permissible in Islam, but they have to abide by certain rules, as we will talk about inshallah. So let's talk about, or we'll wait until after Isha inshallah, and we'll talk about some of the rulings of sharikat, some of the laws that if you're going to get involved in a partnership or in a company as a partner, then you have to abide by, and that company or that partnership has to abide by to make everything halal inshallah. So we'll stop here and we proceed after Salat al-Isha. Jazakumullah khair. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. So inshallah we continue this lecture, and we talk about some of the ahkam, some of the qawaid, some of the rules that need to be respected when you get involved in a partnership or in a company as a partner. First, قال المؤلف رحمه الله الربح في جميع ذلك على ما شرطه. He spoke about the types of companies or partnerships, and now he's talking about the details. We said we already established the kinds of partnerships that people can be involved in. We said العنان, and that is both invest in money and time and work And we said الوجوه, they both borrow money. We said المضاربة, one puts the money and one puts the work or the effort. And the last type we said is sharikat abdan, and that is there's no money, they just partner in certain work like hunting or fishing or planting or whatever it is, and they split what both make. Now we'll talk about some of the details. And الربح, he says الربح في جميع ذلك على مشر. The profits are distributed in those companies. Now you partnership usually to make profit. So now we need to understand how do we deal with these profits, how we deal with losses, how we deal with assets, how we deal with anything that can come into this partnership, how we deal with disputations. All that need to be understood, so in the future no one will say, but we agreed differently, I expected differently, I expected something else. All these things need to be understood from the beginning. But whether they agree on or they don't agree on, there are certain rules that they must abide by, and those are what we actually talking about. So الربح في جميع ذلك على مشرطه, the profits in all those partnerships, you go partner, the profits will be distributed based on the agreement. So whatever 2 people come into a partnership or in a company or corporation or whatever they agree on regarding the profits, that is what goes through. Alright? Now that determination of the profits or the agreement over the profits has rules as well. There are certain things they cannot agree on. There are certain things they are forbidden. Even if they are right with it, they are forbidden to do it. And we will mention those. Then قال المؤلف رحمه الله والوضيعة على قدر المال. So just to mention الربح في جميع ذلك, and just another point to add from this statement, you will understand that profit doesn't have to be distributed equally. Alright? So it's based on what they agree on. So it doesn't have to be equal. They agree. Even if they are partners in the same effort and in the same money, if they agree to distribute unequally, that is fine as well, as we will see. قال والوضيعة على قدر المال. وضيعة يعني الخسارة. So in any company, in any partnership, you're going to have profits and you're going to have losses. So we said the profits are are based on what they agree on. Khasara, the losses, cannot be. يعني, in other words, if they say two partners come together and they say if we have profits, then you get 60%, I get 40%. Is that okay? That's all right. And the next part of the contract they say, and if we lose, you deal with 40% and I deal with 60%, for example. That is not permissible. That is not permissible. When it comes to al-wadi'a or al-khasara, that is based on the money. Based on the money invested. In other words, if I invest $1,000 and you invest $500, then it's 2 to 1. So if there is profit, if there's profits, it doesn't have to be 2 to 1, whatever we agree on. But if there is loss, then it has to be in a ratio of 2 to 1. So the one who puts 1,000, let's say the loss is $15. The one who invests 1,000 will be responsible about $10. And the one who invested 5,000 or 500, then he's responsible for $5. So these are numbers, easy. But the point is that when it comes to losses, the agreement has nothing to do with it. In Islam, you cannot, when it comes to losses, it's based on the money. Based on the money. يعني, if we have a شركة مضاربة, يعني I come with $10,000, you're someone who knows well in buying and selling, let's say, computers. So I'll give you $10,000, I tell you, go buy computers or cars or whatever and sell them and make some money. So all the money came 100% from me. So let's say he goes, he invests, he does what he's supposed to do, and then the market goes down, he loses $5,000. I cannot agree with him from the beginning when I give him, I cannot say if there are losses, it's your responsibility. I cannot tell him if there are losses, and there's a word, it doesn't come across my mind. You're responsible about 50% of the losses and I'm responsible about 50%. No. It's just the verb. Alright? أنت المسؤول يعني. You understand? With losses, it's based on the money. So if I give him all the money comes from me, then the losses is on my money, on the one who invested the money. So there are 5,000, it comes out of the 10,000, he's done. Because he did not invest anything. As long as he did what he was supposed to do. But if he's someone who got the $10,000, alright, and he went and he bought $2,000 car for $10,000, obviously that is negligence. And he will be held accountable. Alright? But in general, if he's, because we will see that in mudarib, ايش؟ صح. Amin. And you know what we meant, what we learned last time, Amin means when the fuqaha use the word Amin. We'll come to that inshallah. Good one. قال المؤلف رحمه. So that's why he said وَالْوَضِيعَةُ عَلَى قَدْرِ الْمَالِ, يعني losses based on the amount of money. So based how much you invest is, and there is a loss, is how much you lose. But when it comes to the profits, it has nothing to do with how much you invest. Because if I'm يعني I go with mudaraba and I'm the one who put all the money, then I'm going to get all the profits. You understand? So when it comes to profits, it's whatever we agree on. And even this agreement has certain rules. But when it comes to losses, then the money, the ratio of the money or the percentage of them, or based on the amount, is whoever handles the losses. Maybe that's the word I want. المؤلف رحمه الله ولا يجوز أن يجعل لأحدهما دراهم معينة ولا ربح بشيء معين. Now we're talking about profits. We said that profits are distributed based on the agreement. Now this agreement has to be in a certain way as well. يعني whatever the company we have or the partnership, we're going to say the profits that it's going to make, you take 40%, I take 60%. Is that alright? That's okay. We cannot, as he said, and this this is the rulings. لا يجوز أن يجعل لأحدهما دراهم معينة. يعني I cannot say regarding the profits, you give me $5,000, or let's make it small number. You give me $500 of the profit and you keep the rest. That is not allowed. Yeah. And it comes in different flavors. This format, it comes in different flavor because people try to play with the words. For example, I come and here's my $10,000. So I will give you 10% of your investment. Okay? Is the 10% of the investment, is it a known number or not? Of course. 10% of 10,000. 1,000. Is it 1,000? All right. So the percentage is not always okay. But if he tells me, I'll give you 10% of the profits, is the profit a known number? We don't know yet. Is 10% of unknown number known number? No. So as long as the amount is not disclosed exactly, then it's okay. Got it? Just to repeat, because this is very important. I partner with you. Whether you put 5,000, I put 5,000. I put 10,000 and you just gonna work it. You're gonna invest it. You have experience in the market. You cannot tell me I will give you as a profit 10% of your investment, because that's a known amount. You cannot tell me I will give you $500 on your investment, because that is known amount, because this is a guaranteed number, right? If he says I give you 50% of the profits, it's not guaranteed, because if there is profit, I'll get 50%. If there is no profit, I'll get nothing. But if he tells me 50% of your investment, يعني of the 10,000, that's a guaranteed number. So if he goes and he loses money, he's still obligated to give me 50% of the 10,000. That's causing him harm. And this way will even stop people from investing for other people. Then he's gonna say, I'm responsible. Got it? So that's why you cannot specifically mention a number. Okay? So when it comes to the profits, it cannot be a specific number. It can be percentage of the profit, which is still not specific number, because we don't know what the profit gonna be. All right, got it? All right. Questions? Right, we move on. And that is what they call مشاع. يعني لا يجوز ضمان الربح. يعني it's not permissible to guarantee a profit in any investment. If you cannot go to someone and tell him, give me $10,000, I will invest it, and I guarantee for you, you're gonna get your $10,000 and $500 on top of it. That sounds like what? That is riba. Sounds like riba. Because when you take 10,000 from someone to invest it, as if you had borrowed 10,000 from him, and you tell him, I'm gonna pay you back your money and 500 extra. That is usury. That is what destroys the economy of the world. Usury. That's why every day you hear them dropping the interest rate. Even some countries now it's 0 interest rate. Usury. So Islam came to avoid that. Why? Because even if this investor loses money, he's still obligated to get you that $500, so it will cause him more harm. Okay? Very important. So when it comes to profits, get into a partnership, you cannot ask for a guaranteed profit. But you can ask for a guaranteed percentage. If there's a profit, I get 50%. That is okay. Alright? Very important. Also, you can, as well as you cannot guarantee, or you cannot guarantee profits, you cannot also ask for a guarantee for no loss. because it's the same thing. يعني I come and I tell you, here's my $10,000 invested for me. Okay, my phone I keep using for 10,000, but it's not worth 10,000. So don't try to jump me outside, yani. The point is, here's my $10,000 invested for me, but I want one guarantee from you. Whatever profit you make, we split. But you have to guarantee to me that there are no losses. Yani in 3 months, if I ask for my money, you give me the 10,000. That is forbidden as well. Because if there are losses, that means his responsibility. You share it? That means based on the money. That is his responsibility. If I give you 10,000 to invest it, and you invest that 10,000 and you lose 5,000, I'm responsible. We don't share. So the loss based on the money. Whoever puts money has to deal with the loss based on his percentage, based on the amount of the money. Alright? So you cannot guarantee profit, you cannot guarantee no loss, because they are very much the same. Also they say الربح لا يجب أن يكون بدراهم معينة، يجب أن يكون مشاعة. Okay? مشاعة يعني something for all. Okay? Something for all. Which means it's something that whatever situation takes investment, you can take that thing and apply it legally. The agreement, whatever you agree on. The only thing that this will apply to, the only thing you can use that it's applicable to every situation is if there's profit, there's percentage. If there's no profit, there's no percentage. There's percentage, still zero. Yeah. Alright? That's with the profits. Profits has to be musha'. يعني it has to be based on a percentage of what? Huh? Okay. The amount of the percentage based on the agreement, but percentage of what is of the profit, because the profit is something I don't know yet. I won't know until I invest. So this way a percentage of something I don't know equals I don't know. As long as it's I don't know, but when it takes place we can calculate it, that is fine. But if I get the money and I leave, I give you the money and I leave and I know 3 months how much I'm going to get back, that is not permissible. Alright? An estimate, that is fine, but we don't agree on an estimate. For example, I bring the 10,000, I tell you, you know what, at least I want you to get me $1,000. You cannot do that. However, he tells you, I'll give you 30% of the profits. So I tell him how much you think that will be around from his experience. He said, it might be $1,000. That is fine. I say, okay, but it can be less, can be more, but it's just an estimate. But we did not agree on that number. We agreed on the 50% of the profit. Alright? Very important. قال المؤلف ولا يجوز أن يجعل لأحدهما دراهم معينة. We already talked about it. ولا ربح بشيء معين. ربح بشيء معين يعني we go partners. For example, mainly in farming, in a farm. There's a farm. I have the land, but I don't have time. I need to plant it and seed it and water it and irrigate and all that. So I bring someone who knows and I tell him, you do it. And this part of the farm, whatever this part produce is yours. That is not allowed. And whatever this part produce is mine. Okay? But we can say, whatever this whole thing produce, you get 50, I get 50. But you cannot specifically pinpoint a piece of, or a side, or a group of trees, or a side of the investment and say, whatever this brings, whatever this is mine. Cannot do that, because this might produce nothing and this produce everything. Alright? Very important. again, is to protect the rights of everyone. Vice versa, this can produce everything and this will produce nothing. So the guy who has the land will end up with nothing. What do you think that will create in his heart? Right? Islam came to eliminate, try to avoid all these things. That's why we learned, that's why the Prophet ﷺ came to teach us these things. Alright? Now, supposedly, you sign an agreement. You come to me after this lecture, say, I already have a partnership with the brother. He gave the money, I'm doing my work. But one of the conditions in the partnership that we agreed on in the contract is I have no loss. So should I get out of it? Should I stop the business? But we put a lot of time in it and it's about to produce the fruits, all that, give its fruit. The ulama have two different opinions. One opinion says that if there is a clause in the contract that is not permissible, there is a clause in a contract, you have a contract, business contract, it's all good, but there is one line or one clause that says the investor guarantees no loss. We said, already agreed, you cannot guarantee no loss. Does that invalidate the whole contract? Or the contract is okay and that clause you're not obligated to abide by? Got it? So yeah, you sign the contract is sound, is good. You can continue with it, but that clause you're not obligated to abide by because it's illegitimate according to the religion. So the ulama have two opinions. One opinion said the whole contract is null. The whole contract is fasid. The whole contract is null. Because there is one part of it is one clause is wrong or illegitimate according to the Sharia, then the whole contract is null. The other opinion, which is the correct, that clause is fasid. Only the clause is null. Yani you don't have, even though you signed, you don't have to abide by. And you're not responsible in the Sharia. In the law, you might be responsible, but in the Sharia, you won't be held accountable. Actually, you are obligated to not abide by if it involves something forbidden. Alright? Yani, for example, you go sign a contract for to buy a car or a house, and one of the clauses there, if you are late in your payment, then we will charge you 5% late fee. In general, late fees are haram. Late fees are haram, because that is exactly the idea of riba, right? You either pay or imma an taqdi or imma an tarbi. Riba al-jahili. You pay now, yani when it's due, you pay now, or you can pay later, but we will charge you late fee. That is usury. So the other opinion said that clause by itself is false and the rest of the contract is fit, is fine, and you should not abide by that clause. Alright? So that is the two opinions. One opinion completely nullify the whole contract, and one opinion says only the clause is fasid and the aqd sahih, and that is the correct opinion. Allahu A'lam. Because in general, contracts are sound, are legitimate, because they're mu'amalat. The mu'amalat usually are permissible unless there is something haram. So we say the contract is halal, but that clause needs to be neglected. So يصح العقد ويفسد الشرط. Another rule is الخسارة في المضاربة إنما تكون على رب المال في ماله. المضارب لا يفسد. We said with partnerships where someone puts the money and the other has to make the effort and work, the responsibility of any loss is on the investor, not on the worker. So I give you $10,000 to invest it for me. You're the worker now, but you're my partner, but you're the worker in general, but you're not putting in any money. All the money comes from me. If there is a loss, I handle. It's my responsibility. I cannot come to you and tell you, well, you did not do the job right, you did not invest right, you did not do, so we need to split the losses, or you're responsible. You cannot do that. You cannot come to him and tell him, here's $10,000 invested, but if you lose, you're responsible. If there's a loss, you're responsible. Like that. Can you do that? Huh? Because he didn't put any money, but in other words, it's what? It's a guarantee of what? Guarantee of no loss for me. When I tell him you're responsible about the losses, that means I will get back my money as is at least. So I have guaranteed no loss. That is haram. That is actually when you put your money in a bank, ribawi bank, and they give you a CD, saving account, you get money. There is no bank going to tell you we will invest it and there's a chance of losing. They actually tell you how much money they're going to give you every year. Right? 3%, 1% of what? Of your deposit. That's why it's haram. Because it's haram, because if the bank loses, you're going to still make money, and that's harmful to the bank. Alright? So this bank is individuals as well. Alright. This rule has an exception. يعني that you give someone money to invest, we said if there are losses, you're the one responsible completely. The person who gave the money. The person who's investing the money. The guy who's working the investment doesn't guarantee any loss. But there's an exception, and that is the only time the person you gave money to invest becomes responsible if you can prove تعدي أو تفريط. تعدي or تفريط. يعني if you can prove, as the one who gave the money, if you can prove that he was negligent, يعني he did what he wasn't supposed to do, or he did not do what he was supposed to do. Either way. He did what he wasn't supposed to do, or he did not do what he was supposed to do. Either way, one is tafrit, one is ta'addi. If you can prove that he did that, then he will have to handle the losses or some of it based on that, on what the situation is. For example, I give a guy $10,000 to invest, right? He goes, one company is saying in 2 days we will be out of business. So he goes, he said, you know what, let me buy shares in this company, stocks, with the $10,000. 2 days later the stocks go from $1,000 to nothing, it goes to nothing, to zero, it goes to zero. Now you want to tell me I am responsible about handling all that losses? Of course not. He was negligent. Alright? And he said, maybe it won't go out of business. So let me take a chance. You don't take chances in this. Or someone, you give him a car. You tell him, here's the car, I want you to sell it and make some money, and we split. So he takes the car, he takes it to his house, because he wants to go sell it tomorrow, and he leaves the keys in the car, and he lives in the ghetto, and the car is open, and he goes to sleep. He wakes up in the morning, what? The car is sold already? The car is gone. That is negligence. I'm not responsible. I shouldn't be the car owner responsible. He was negligent. Now we said the investor, the one who put the money, is the one supposed to show the proof. Why? Because al-mudarib ameen. Why? Because the person that you give money to, supposedly you trust. So when the ulama said, that person is Amin, يعني he's not the one who's required to show the proof. Because if we say that if he loses money, he still has to show proof that he lost the money out of his control and he was not negligent, then this way no one wants to take your money. But he comes with a good will, يعني good intention, give me money, let me try to invest it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala either give us tawfiq and help us to make money, or we lose. But this guy doesn't have anything anyway. If he had anything, most probably he would have not asked you for money to invest. You're going to also make him responsible for some losses, يعني make his life worse. So in this manner, no one will take money except for money for investment. So we say, as long as this person who did not have any negligence or did not do what he wasn't supposed to do with the investment, then he doesn't handle any losses. Alright? And he is not the one who has to show the proof. Yani most probably 90% of the people who have no faith and no fear of God, if they put their money for investment and the guy loses it, they can make any claim to get their money back or some of it. So they can, most probably they will accuse him, it's because you're stupid, excuse my language, or because you're ignorant or you didn't know what you're doing. That's the way. That's why وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْخُلَطَاءِ لَيَبْغِي بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. A lot of partners oppress each other. So try to be out of partnership as much as you can. Alright? Try. An advice. So that is the, so المضارب أمين, يعني the person who gets the money to invest it for you is not the one to show the proof, it's you who's supposed to show the proof. قال والحكم في المساقات والمزارعة كذلك. مساقة والمزارعة, two different contracts. Inshallah, we'll talk about them in a little bit. But وتجبر الوضيعة من الربح. وتجبر الوضيعة. If there is a loss, there is profit. Usually we agree, we're partners, and every 3 months we meet to distribute the profits. I'll give you a report. First month, we made some money. Second month, profit. Third month, losses. So now we come to distribute after 3 months, yani, quarterly, right? So here we say, okay, the first month we made $100. We agreed 50-50. So here's your 50, here's my 50. Second month, we made another 100, 50-50. Third month, we lost 100. So he said, Brother Fadi in Sunrise said, the losses are based on the money. So you're the one who invested all the money, you're the one who deals with the losses. It doesn't work like that. Because that is not fair too. So if there is a profit and there is losses, the losses are deducted from the profits before the profits are distributed. Clear? So first month 100 profit, second month 100 profit, third month 100 losses. So we split what? $100. So you get 50, I get 50. You made profit, I made profit. Alright? But if you're going to give me 50-50 and then take 100, alright? So that is why وَتُجْبَرُ الْوَضِيعَةُ مِنَ الرِّبْحِ. So before we distribute any profits based on the agreement, we have to deduct the losses. So we make up for the losses into the original amount, and then we split the profits.
What is the agreement to do the accounting every month?
That's it. That's it. If the agreement is we split profits every month. First month we had profit, we split it. End of the story. Now we start anew. But if in one period profits and losses exist, alright, then it has to be deducted.
For example, like they already split the profit 1 month, the second month there is loss, but the third month, the following month there is profit. Are the profit going to be, we're going to take the loss from the profit?
In this situation, again, it's the losses based if the agreement is monthly, okay, again, the same idea. The losses, that's it, you handle the losses. So now we're coming to, if the agreement, we're going to distribute the profits every month, second month there was no profits to meet even for, all right? But the bottom line is based on the agreement, okay? Based. قال وليس لأحدهما البيع بنسيئة. يعني if two people are partners in some business, يعني we're partners in work and in investment, and I put some of the money, you put some of the money, and we buy 10 cars. You take 5, I take 5, and we say let's each one go his way and sell. No one of us has the right to sell any of those cars نسيئة. يعني شو يعني نسيئة؟ يعني مؤجل. I cannot come at the end of the day and say I sold 2 cars. Great, where's the money? No, I sold it, I finance it. You can't do that, because there's a chance that this person you finance for will never pay, unless both partners approve. So if they approve, that is fine. If they agree, that is fine. يعني look at the common sense of this religion. يعني if this is the situation, we put money, you put money, I put money, and you go sell something financing. Don't you think when you come to tell me, oh, I sold it, but we're going to collect money every month for the next 2 years, don't you think that I will feel, I won't agree? Isn't it? That's in general. So as long as there's no agreement with all parties, then you cannot sell nasiya. You cannot sell, tell someone, I'll give you the car and you pay later, or you pay me in a month. You cannot do that without the approval of the other person. قال ولا أخذ شيء من الربح إلا بشيء آخر. And you're not allowed to take any of the profit without informing the other side and the agreement. يعني you have partner, you have one bank account, for example, that's where all the money comes in. And you go, and because you have access to the bank, you start writing checks or using the checking card for your personal, or even part of your personal, part of your percentage. Without the approval, that is not allowed. Again, that is a source of creating problems. Alright? So Islam came to close the door in front of all of this. That's it. We have a time, we agree, we split profits, that's it. You need money right away, you can take from it, but you have to ask and get the approval. And then later on it's taken out of your share. So these are a group of some of the rulings. Musaqa wal muzara'a, just to mention, to let you know about it. It's not applicable to our daily life, but it's actually just because the ulama mention it, applicable to a lot of other people who are farmers and deal with these things, but just to know about it. مساقة دفع شجر مغروس أو شجر غير مغروس مع أرض إلى من يغرسه فيها ويقوم بسقيه وما يحتاج إليه ويكون للعام الجزء المشاع من ثمر ذلك الشجر والباقي لمالك. المساقة يعني the contract of المساقة. I have a land, I have trees in it, or I don't have trees in it, or I have trees but they're not planted or seed. Whatever the situation is, I give it to someone who doesn't have the lands or the trees to plant it for me, and then we agree he's gonna get this percentage of what this land produces, and I get the rest for me, or a percentage for him, percentage for him, whatever the agreement. That is the contract of al-musaqa. It's like giving someone money to invest it for. والمزارعة دفع أرض لمن يزرعها أو دفع أرض وحب. So in Musaqa you give trees planted or not, but you give trees with the land. Muzara'a you give the land, or maybe you give land with seeds. Okay, some trees, if you take care of them, they give you fruit every year. You don't plant them every year, but they have a season and they give. That is Musaqa. Muzara'a, empty land, you plant it every year. Okay, you put the seed and they produce every year. So that is al-muzara'a. You bring someone, you tell him you're a farmer, I have no idea, I inherited this land. Here's the land, here's the seed, you plant it, you take care of it, and whatever the production is, you get X percentage, I get X percentage. That is the meaning of المزارعة. قال المؤلف تجوز المساقاة في كل شجر له ثمر بجزء من ثمره مشاع معلوم. It's permissible to do musaqah, يعني give the trees, the land with trees to someone, but they agree that has fruits. This trees, the condition is that it gives fruits. Then what you going to give him? Because the agreement will be, you get percentage of the fruit, يعني of how much it's worth, and I get a percentage. And it has to be a percentage. It cannot be, we have 200 trees, for example, in the land. Tell him, for you is these 100 trees, and for me whatever these 100 trees produce. That is not allowed. So it has to be musha' ma'lum. والمزارعة في الأرض بجزء من زرعها سواء كان البذر منهم أو من أحدهم. And then he mentioned عامل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أهل خيبر بشطر ما يخرج منها من زرع أو ثمر وفي لفظ على أن يعمروها من أموالهم. The same thing what the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم did with Khaybar. Yahud Khaybar. They were farmers. Okay. So the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم split with them. They were farmers to stay where they are and to pay their jizya. Was okay, you plant, you keep 50 and we take 50. ثم قال وعلى العامل يعني عبد الله بن رواحة كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يرسله يعني تقدير الشجر. كان يقول اليهود والله إذا أنتم أبغض الناس إلي أنتم أسوأ الشجرة والخنازير. وإن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا أحب الناس إلي وما بغضي لكم وحبي لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مانعني من أن أعدل. طبعا يعني لن نترجم هذه. طيب عندنا شخص غير مسلمين. ثم قال وعلى العامل ما جرت العادة بعمله. العامل يعني now I bring someone and I tell him you deal with this contract. Alright? Or I give you this land and we split the profits, for example. That is fine. Now what is his responsibility? His responsibility is what the people in that specific area are accustomed to. For example, you're someone who has izbah, and يعني you have a big land of farm or a big farm and you have a house in it. So usually if you give this contract to someone to plant it, all he's responsible about is taking care of the farm, of the land. He has nothing to do with the house. So you come to him after 3 months and there is no power in the house. He's not using it, he's just taking the land. Because so you come and you tell him why you didn't pay the bills for the house light, for example. He tells you now, is he responsible or not? Based on the custom. So if in that area, when someone goes into a contract like that, like someone you give him the land to plant it, it becomes part of his responsibility to take care of the house on that farm, then we say, yeah, he's obligated. But if it's the customs in that area that you give him the land to plant it and that's all he's responsible about, then we say he's not responsible. So based on the customs, based on what people are accustomed to in specific area. So maybe in a farm in Texas is different attitude than a farm in Tunisia. All right? Right? So based on the custom, what people are العرف, what people are accustomed to. وقال ولو دفع إلى رجل دابة يعمل عليها وما حصل فهو بينهما جاز قياسا على ذلك. And this is good news for the captain. دابة يعني we talked about a land. You can also give دابة. دابة يعني animal to use. Animal in the past they can travel on, they can rent, they can use it in the circus, they can carry U-Haul, right? Whatever the situation is. But today, cars, for example, the same thing. So you have a car, you have a cab. You bring someone and you tell him, here's my cab, you go work on it, I'm not using it, whatever you make at the end of the day we split. Is that permissible? That is permissible. That is the same thing as musaqa. So that's why I want to mention musaqa, and then from that we derive how we can apply it to our contemporary life. Alright? So like management companies. You have a building you're not using, so you get a management company and you tell them, here's the building, you rent it, you do whatever with it, and then we split the product, or you get 10% or you get 15% and I get the rest. Same thing. So that is permissible. Alright? Now what's about you get a cap and you give it to someone and you tell them, here, work on it, but at the end of every week you give me $500. Is that permissible? وكالة أجر. Now this is not partnership anymore. Alright? This is what? This is, I'm renting you the car. Said, I rent you the car. I want $400 for it. If you want to rent your house, or you have an apartment you want to rent it out, you can ask for as much as you want, right? It's his choice to accept or not. The same thing here. But if it was a partnership, I cannot do that. I cannot tell him, out of the profit you give me for, it is the 400 he's going to give you most probably out of what he made. But still you cannot put it in that format because it's guaranteeing profit or guarantee no loss. Alright? Very important. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us with what we heard, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for all of us and for all people. قل قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على محمد. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. And I apologize for my dress because I have to come straight from work. So سامحونا على ذلك. السلام عليكم.